Back in the day, you knew a movie was a hit if a lot of people went to see it, and a lot of people went to see it more than once. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was one of those movies. In 1969, two westerns were released that told the same story, but from radically different points of view, and lightning struck in both cases. In The Wild Bunch, it cemented Sam Peckinpah's place as a major American film director. In Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, it elevated actor Robert Redford to superstar status. One is a deadly serious journey into the lower depths of human behavior, while the other is a light and breezy entertainment as carefree as a bicycle ride. Although, at the time, the reviews for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were mixed. But it didn't matter. This was our Western. And by our, I mean those of us who were born in the 50s but came of age in the 60s. I was 16 years old in 1969, and like The Graduate, and to a lesser extent Easy Rider, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was a movie that spoke to us as it tweaked old shop-worn cliches in a hip and knowing manner. And that made it fun. I have to be in a rare and testy mood to ride with Pike Bishop and the bunch on their journey to hell, but I'll saddle up with Butch and the Kid most any time. I had seen Redford in The Chase, which had a great cast with Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, and Jane Fonda. But frankly, I was focused on Janice Rule. Then he turns up in Barefoot in the Park, which was a triumph for him when he did it on Broadway, and he's funny here as well, but Redford's not quite there yet. Same with Inside Daisy Clover, where he plays a bisexual movie star, but he's overshadowed by Natalie Wood's doe-eyed beauty and a sinister Christopher Plummer. He's back again with Natalie Wood in This Property is Condemned, but thanks to William Goldman's script, George Roy Hill's direction, and Paul Newman's generosity as an actor, Robert Redford becomes a superstar in this movie. The Sundance Kid is the kind of part that gives an actor a chance to really be cool, and Redford pulls it off, but in his own way. Not like Paul Newman, who helped write the book on cool, but who had to occasionally tamp down his funny bone instincts to keep his cool. And not like Steve McQueen, whose tough guy cool was made human by flashes of his funny bone. So, what was Robert Redford's secret sauce? Well, he can be funny when he downplays, and he's very funny when he plays distracted, a trait he shares, by the way, with actor Warren Beatty. But in this movie, it's his hair. Robert Redford has cool hair. And his hair looks really cool when he and Newman are trapped on that cliff. Newman and director George Roy Hill give Redford the camera. And sure, he's great throughout the movie, but that's the scene that puts him over the top. Catherine Ross, who was another movie staple of those years, does what she can with the part, but her motivation for staying with the boys basically amounts to she's bored with being a schoolteacher, but she won't watch them die. And despite the cute and charming bicycle scene, she's treated as the butt of numerous jokes and asides, most notoriously in a fake rape teasing intro. Back in the day, that was seen mostly as a gag reveal for the Oedipus character. But now, I wonder. So, who are those guys? Who indeed, but none other than the Superposse, made up of mercenaries hired by a rich railroad tycoon to hunt down and kill Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, because nothing, but nothing, must stand in the way of corporate America's manifest destiny, no matter how cute or how funny they may be. Faced with that, our boys just split. That's right, they just leave the country. But before shipping out to Bolivia, they travel to New York City, and this montage sequence confused older audiences at the time. They thought the movie was over as it started with a somber musical cue and a shot of a bicycle wheel spinning to a stop. The rest of the montage is a jaunty affair as our gang takes in the sights and delights of a gaslit New York City, but it ends as it begins, on a somber note. Once in Bolivia, they take up robbing banks, and after a rocky start due to language issues, they're back in business and doing well. But the long arm of the law has followed them all the way down to Bolivia, and our banditos Yankees decide to go straight. They're hired by the great character actor Strother Martin to act as armed payroll guards for a silver mine. This ends tragically as they're attacked by Bolivian bandits and Strother Martin is killed. Butch and the Kid gun down the Bolivian bandits in a slow-motion gunfight which, thanks to Bonnie and Clyde, had become a movie staple of the late 60s, one that reached its apotheosis the very same year with Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch. And as Sundance says, well, we've gone straight. Now what do we try? After that, Etta Place sees the writing on the wall and announces she's returning to the States. Our boys are now alone, and even the jokes take on a bitter edge as the film reaches its climax in a shootout with the local police and their eventual death at the hands of the Bolivian army. And like Bonnie and Clyde, and like the Wild Bunch, we feel it when they die. In the end, the secret to this movie's appeal is really very simple. It's about friendship. See you at Hole in the Wall.